welcome GMAN Division 3C to your weekly recap with your host Gunnar Side, and not Lazra this time. He was actually a little bit busy, so instead we have Entropic Man here, the coach of Natural Talent. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, yes. Unfortunately, you're all stuck with me this week.
No, I think it'll be great. It'll be great. Another British guy. I'm sure we'll all
Yup.
be doing fine. Shall we take a look at last week's games, two of which haven't been played yet, but those are two bye weeks, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it looks like it. Mirkwood's probably taking the loss on that one, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing so. I should contact the admin to check if Mirkwood Athletic is still in this competition, but I'm probably just gonna forget about it as usual.
Alright.
Either who, first off we have Lazra himself losing 3-1 against Kemri. I really love to know how he managed that, I'll be completely honest.
Yes, I did watch the replay on this one, and he did seem to be a little bit unfortunate, just bad rolls in really key places, but really it just looks like, from looking at the stats especially, that Kemri just sort of rolled over to him. They did the Kemri thing, did a lot of fouling. Ooh, it wasn't good for him.
Right.
And unfortunately, the MVP on the loner there, which is heartbreaking.
I mean, that's the classic Skaven life, isn't it?
Of course.
I don't think Bloodusand is much more happy with their MVP either, going on the 30-player sneaky git player there, who should have been fired at the beginning of the season, but hasn't, for God knows what reason.
He is still there, and yeah, the MVP probably isn't much better for them either.
Yeah. Watch him roll strength and become just the worst. So that was that game. Night Juggler's back, loses as well against Clark Death Grips Juniors. The Stunties managing to beat up basically a vanilla Brett team. Congrats on them.
Yep. And I think that was one of the ones that you guys predicted last week, right? Clark Death Grips for that match.
Right. I mean, it's hard not to, right? Even though Gerber is such a good coach, his team is. I mean, I'll put it bluntly, I think his team is hot garbage.
It isn't working out the best for him right now. Hopefully we'll get some good development on Night Juggler at the end of the season, because I did quite like... I liked his team when I played against it.
Because you beat it?
Well, partially, but I also quite liked his playstyle. He was doing really well. Unfortunately, this was at the point where my elves appear to have sharpened all of their armor into sort of stakes and were killing everybody. They have stopped doing that recently.
Yeah, I think I noticed.
Yes, but yeah, hopefully Night Juggler is back, has a little bit more fortune in their development next season or late this season, because I do quite like this team.
Right, couldn't agree more. Onwards to Clotimore, Rams losing against the Toxic Avengers. I don't think we were surprised with this result. I mean,
but this game was absolutely brutal. I was just watching the replay of it earlier, and well, it set the tone for the game when in turn 1, block 1, Captain Toxic Avengers just straight up murdered a Beastman.
Ah, great.
Yep. It was fine because he was only a no-skill rookie Beastman, of course, but he was probably a little bit less happy about his Minotaur dying turn 2 and Apoing into a dead.
Oh no. I mean, his team finally doing what they're supposed to, I guess. Considering his record so far, I don't think they have been doing that.
They haven't been doing it as much as they ought to, I think, but
Right.
yeah, a lot of injuries there and none of them badly hurt.
Classic.
Absolutely classic injuries.
Nordic New Bloods, the team that was doing so well, manages to lose 3-0 against the Injurious Bastards.
Yeah, and picked up the MVP on the dead, which,
great.
as we all know, is the best person to have the MVP on.
Good for the loner.
Yep, apart from the loner. A nice send-off, have some SPP before you leave.
Uh-huh.
And the 3-0 here was... that was nasty, yeah. I mean, Nordic Nooblets did really, really well last week against my own team, but Norse are kind of swingy like that. They'll either completely murder you or just drop like flies, and they did the second thing this week
Uh-huh.
against the Injurious Bastards. Possibly not entirely unexpectedly so.
Yeah, you're probably right there. I mean, it happens eventually with Norse, and it hasn't happened so far, I don't think. Then again, my memory isn't the greatest.
Yeah, when you play Armor 7, it's going to happen at some point.
Right, as it did with your team eventually.
Oh yeah, speaking of which.
Uh-huh. Then we have... Wait, did I just... Yeah, Dazzle Wassers won against you. That's a 2-1 victory. Care to tell us how that happened?
So, this was... well, it was just another natural talent game, really. The last few weeks have been going terribly, and we started off in good natural talent fashion. Turn 1, 2 players down immediately, which was fantastic. Morgan Treeman actually did things this week, managed to stand up, which was incredible. I was amazed. Didn't pro reroll into dead like he usually does. Just absolutely incredible. I did have a chance at tying this up in the final turn to be 2-2, but unfortunately, of the 2 leaps Keanu Leaves attempted to make this game on a 2+, he rolled a 1 both times.
Oh,
First time it ate a reroll, and the second time I didn't have any gas left, and he just fell over, and that was the game.
No.
It was a little bit unfortunate. Pretty sure I was odds-on favourite to make that 2-2, but it was a really good match, and I'm quite happy with the result. I think, considering that half my team is loners, I gave a good account of myself.
Yeah. What can you say? You even got the MVP on the loner there.
Of course,
Just
but
ideal.
he's not going to be hired onto the team because his name just does not fit the theme.
Ah, nice. Right, I think... Oh God, what did I just do? We go... That was all of last week's game, rather. The other 2 are bye weeks, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, those do look a lot like bye weeks.
Yes, let's go into team development. I think that's next. Yes, it is.
Sure.
We'll go under Sartosa Blood Bowl Association. Down to 770 Team V. God.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
a lot of... Well, luckily they're all MVPs. So what happened is Gunnerside the Rat gets 2 heads because he rolled a double. Hype.
Yep.
But then his team got absolutely smashed. Bosun takes a niggle. I mean, that's pretty bad, but I guess it's not the end of the world. And then Cut Rat and Flintlock get MVPs. I'm thinking too much about MVPs. Miss next games.
Yep. That's upsetting on Bosun though, because he's very good. It would be worse if he had Claw, I guess, but his days, I guess, are numbered now. I wouldn't be using the Apo on him in future.
Yeah, you might be right there. He has a 120k in the bank, so I mean, what would you even buy, right?
Ooh, I mean, at this point, he's got all 4 gutter runners. I mean, he's only got 2 for the next game, but still got all 4 gutter runners, and one of them's got MV10, so he's looking decent. I don't know, 12 rats? How many rats can you get for 120k?
Yeah, you get like, wait, how much is a lion rat? 50k, so 2 rats, that's just... I honestly, if you ask me, you probably just save that money for when a positional dies.
Probably at this point, yeah.
He'll be going into next game with 4 players.
Just, wow.
4 players.
7 loners is going to be tough to deal with. I mean, wow.
I mean, the strange part is really how he's 770 team value with 4 players, but I mean, Skaven will Skaven.
They will. It does speak to the quality of mostly Bosun and First Mate there.
Yeah.
First Mate is looking very good. I mean, that agility 2 hurts a little bit, but I guess ideally you shouldn't be dodging with your Storm Vermin anyway.
Right, as he said last week, if you're dodging with your Storm Vermin, you've done something wrong.
Something has gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, as it did in last week's game, I'm guessing, looking at this entire mess. Shall we go onwards to Blood to Sand?
Of course.
They get a bunch of levels actually. Ancient Grandpa, the beefy Tomb Guardian with block, Mighty Blow, and guard gets movement, so it's quite a quick one, actually.
That is a surprisingly nippy Tomb Guardian. I'm surprised to see the movement on that, but
Somewhat.
damn it if I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about it because I've never actually even tried playing Skaven. I mean, the Agi, 2, at best, just scares the crap out of me, but movement could be interesting.
I could do things.
It could. I'm guessing he got a 4+6 and not a 5/5 because then you totally take like tackle or dodge.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, movement could be, something to alleviate the general Khemri movement issues they have.
Yep.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I think it's good. With the GFIs, you can cover 7 squares, obviously, and that's probably enough to take a lot of people off guard. It's the sort of thing that I'd miss if I'm playing Wood Elves.
Yeah. Yeah, you think they're really slow and then bam, 5 movement.
Yep. You blink and he's across the other side of the field.
Yes.
Maybe not quite.
Maybe not quite, but close. Classy Charles get another level. He was Mighty Blow piling on and gets tackle as well. That's quite standard.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. Awkward Albert gets a level and he's not fired for whatever reason. He gets kick now.
Yeah, the kick on the dirty player sneaky git is that's a choice.
It is absolutely a choice. That player right now is more expensive than a Tomb Guardian.
I think I might rather have the Tomb Guardian.
Yeah, me too. Fire it and get a bribe every game instead.
Yep.
Pro tip.
Deny the wizard, perhaps?
I mean, it's just such a mess of a player. Although I can respect it if he's there, just for fun. But if you want to win games, I think he's better off without him.
It's definitely the place to be trying these strange builds, though, that are just for fun.
I guess, yeah. Right, onwards to the development of Night Juggler is back, and I mean, I hesitate to call it development because he rarely does get development with at least something going badly, and it did this time as well. He got absolutely no levels, but he got a niggle on Night Juggler. That's the blodge step tackle one.
Which, if you're going to get a niggle on a piece, your only one with skills probably isn't where you want it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not quite the only blitzer with skills. They're always the tackle, Mighty Blow piling on one.
It's true.
But that's really not great. It's really bad, actually.
There's another piece living on borrowed time there, unfortunately. I mean, we've got Blodge Step on Night Juggler, so he might last a little bit longer, but tackle's becoming pretty ubiquitous in these leagues right now.
Yeah. The higher you go, usually the more tackle there is. Although
Yep.
he's playing against the Toxic Avengers this week, and I doubt they have too much tackle. Either who. Groth Death Grips Jr., they don't get any levels either. In fact, they took an Agi bust on their movement goblin, who got fired. I mean, that's not a surprise there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that choice. Agibust on a goblin, even if it's plus movement, well, that's the death of his career, isn't it?
I mean, I'd argue plus movement is bloat, but to each their own.
Yep. I suppose if you want to try some sort of crazy throw teammate plays, it makes it a little bit more likely to work.
Right, he was fun. It is a fun little piece, rather, because he's cast into the void. Clottimore Rams. I doubt they got anything. In fact, they had their Minotaur die, didn't it? Yep. But
Kung Fu Kin no longer with us. Block Minnow. Very upsetting.
To exactly one person, and that person is HUD. The rest of us are very, very happy indeed. I mean, that thing. Christ.
I was not looking forward to that getting its hands on Morgan Freeman, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I can understand that. Other than that, though, he had 2 other deaths, because MNGs or, badly hurts are overrated. A block diving tackle guard beastman died, and then a normal beastman died as well.
Yep, just a rookie beastman on top of that.
I mean, that really hurt, didn't it?
Oh, the diving tackle is not what you want to lose. I mean, he had 2 of them, and that was looking pretty scary, but now it's One's annoying.
One's annoying, two is like dangerous. Right?
Yep.
Oh well, the Toxic Avengers, I don't doubt, did get a couple levels, and they did indeed. Iron Deficiency, that's one of the Nurgle warriors with Mighty Blow. I haven't looked yet, but I'm gonna guess it's Claw. It is indeed Claw.
What a shock! Yes, Claw on Iron Deficiency Man. Not that he seemed to need it last game.
Apparently not. Yeah, Nick Fury? Yeah, Nick Fury, great. The ball carrier Pestigors gets extra hands, which is standard for the ball carriers there.
That's quite a late extra arms, though, don't you think, for a ball carrier?
I mean, in some ways yes, in some ways no. I mean, block is the standard thing to start off with, I think, because it means even if he rolls, strength, he can beat anything else, something else than a ball carrier. You take block first, and then usually you take sure hands, because sure hands is technically better than extra arms, because a pickup with sure hands, if it's the 3+, is a 1 in 9 to fail, whilst if you have two hands, it's a 1 in 6 to fail. Plus, you don't have to worry about strip ball. Then you roll a double. If you roll a double, you have to take dodge on your ball carrier. I mean, that's a given. Basically, dodge is so important. And then after that, he got extra arms.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, the timing of the double would make it the best route to take extra arms for.
Right.
Still, that's nice development for him. I don't think there's any more.
I don't think there is. No. Well, actually, he had a rotter die. That's not a big deal.
But he has replaced it with Yasmagor Indiana, who used to be a Beastman.
Yes, he has. So that's always nice. Shall we take a look at the Dazzle Wasters then?
Oh yes.
They got actually a couple levels. As we said, Lozra got a level and actually rolled a double for Strong Arm.
Yeah, I mean he was making a decent amount of passing plays as well. So yeah, I don't hate Strong Arm on that pick, given how he's utilizing his thrower.
Yeah, I think Strong Arm is interesting. I still don't believe the Orc, ball passing game is particularly strong, but I mean it's always a nice backup to have if he gets accurate now. That's basically a high elf thrower with accurate. But without, safe throw, though that's fine because you can get that later. Anyways, I don't know. I'm sort of a fan of Strong Arm.
Pretty decent skill.
Other than that, Big Dreamify gets catch. Yeah, I guess to help with the one turn, although I'd almost expect sprint or sure feet.
Yeah, I probably would have taken sure feet there, but catch again. I don't hate it.
No, it's decent. I guess that's who catches. That's who catches Lozra's balls, I guess.
Yep. I think he's just trying to build a wood elf team or a high elf team, but with orcs. That's what's going on here.
It's not the worst team to do that with, but I wouldn't exactly call it the best team either.
No.
I guess
but orcs, like humans, they can do a lot of things.
Right. He realized all of his black orcs kept dying, so, plan B.
Yep. Plan B, throw the ball everywhere.
And then, actually, a third level Jaeger gets Mighty Blow, so that's a movement up Mighty Blow player. A lot of movement on this team, huh?
Turbo orcs.
Sorry about that noise. Apparently my roommates don't know what privacy is. Classic. Yeah, Mighty Blow, I like it. Half decent. Natural Talent, that's your team. You didn't get any development.
Got a decent amount of anti-development.
Right. The strength bust on the catcher is just fantastic, isn't it?
It's fantastic. I love it. Exactly what you want on a catcher. Willow Smith, first game, strength down, fired.
He got the touchdown as well.
He did, which was upsetting. But fortunately, we've brought in someone even better. Robert Downey Jr. is going to take the world by storm. He's carrying the hopes of the team on his back now, along with David Ashelhoff, who would have scored last game were Keanu Reeves not able to jump.
Still no idea how he come up with these names. Didn't even know a yew was a type of tree. Like, I love it. So yeah, I mean, you said you had half a team of loners. No, that's strictly true. You have 2 loners, which is less than most not high elf Woodies teams.
I've got 2 now, yeah. There's a few more before I bought some players and got some MNGs back.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
but no, I'm still happy with this team. I mean, Keanu Reeves by himself wins games.
That's right. And Patrick Ewart isn't the worst player either. I mean, they're both movement busted, which is less than great, but you have something to work with.
Oh yeah, I can definitely still do some elf bullshit with this team.
Oh yes. Yeah, I mean, it used to look better, but it's still pretty decent.
This was a lot better when I had that plus agility plus strength catcher.
Yeah.
But no, it's still going okay. I'm not ready to retire this team. I really don't want to retire this team because then I'm going to have to think of another naming theme that's half as fun as this one.
Haha. It's good a reason as any, I guess.
Yep. When you've got Morgan Freeman on your team, you want him to stick around.
Right, the Nordic Nublets, I think they had some stuff die as well. Brandon Stark, that is the 30-player Lino, died, also took a level. No clue what he got though, because, well, he's dead. Luther, the Lino, gets the 30-player instead, because he leveled, so one dies, another gets born.
And that's not as bad as it could have been. It's only a dirty player, and it's very easily accessible. It's not a piece you want many skills on anyway.
Yeah, I think you might have even considered firing it, considering the extra level.
Definitely.
I mean, 30 players are basically perfect on Norse teams because they get block automatically and then they get 30 player. What else do you need? Like, kick? Like, not really.
If you're gonna put kick anywhere, it's probably on that piece, but
Well, I guess. Although I'd probably put it on Phil Jevons. Probably, because he's never on the LOS anyway, in theory.
That's true.
I mean, you might not even take kick on anyone. I know plenty of coaches who don't believe in it.
He's still got a dirty player for next game as well, so that's gonna be useful for him.
Right. The Injurious Bastards didn't get any levels and only badly hurts in their game. So that was actually all the developments over with. That was really quick, actually. I mean, that's what happens when 2 games are bye weeks every week.
Yep.
Shall we look at next week's games?
Let's take a look.
It's Mirkwood Athletic versus the Darkside Dreamers, which is gonna be a bye week. Right.
It might be. I'm not sure if Mirkwood is still playing games. Let's assume they are, though. I think I'd go with the Darkside Dreamers in this case, just because their record speaks for itself. They've come back from having half their team murdered by my Wood Elves in week 1, and they've come back with basically no slowing down. They've won every single game since then, as far as I'm aware. Did they have 1 draw? I think they had 1 draw.
Let me check real quick. They have been doing very well. That's for sure. They have 1 draw, 1 loss, and 8 wins, which is pretty fantastic, really. I think they're virtually guaranteed the playoffs. I mean, I'd predict them even if this wasn't a bye week.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think anybody can stop Darkside Dreamer.
No, not with this bye week. Unless Wheelie manages to do a heroic comeback just in time to defeat the Darkside Dreamers. I think there might be a chance, but either who, Nordic Nublets face Copy Luwak.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. Because Nordic Nublets has enough tackle, I would say, to make this very uncomfortable for Kopi Luwak.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, really. I don't know, these high elves, they haven't been doing very well, and they don't usually do very well unless they have a bunch of stacked skills, which this high elf team doesn't really have. I mean, look at that thrower, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, Nordic Nublets, even though I doubted them at the beginning, told him his team was garbage, they've been doing really well. So I'm gonna go with the Nordic Nublets here.
That Yeti probably less scary than all those tackle pieces at this point. Bjorn Ironside somehow surviving the wrath of Captain Toxic last week. Yeah, definitely go with Nordic Nublets.
Then we have the Dazzle Wasters versus the Injurious Bastards. Interesting one, actually. I mean, yeah, Super Skink versus Orc Throwing Game.
I would give this to Injurious Bastards, and that's a decision that's made a lot easier by the presence of so many niggles on Dazzle Wagster.
Oh yeah?
Yep, we've got Braddock Tercha with a niggle, Morgoth Smashny with a niggle. Those are two pretty high value pieces. And I believe there's two niggles on their Troll. With regen, that's less bad, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
a
that is
team-
pretty bad, but then again, he's not facing any claw. So, it might actually be fine. Might be fine. Like this, what are they called? Lizardman team, it's late for me. I mean, it's not actually late, it's just been a long day. It doesn't really have that many levels on the Saurus. It has like 3 Mighty Blow and 4 Mighty Blow, and one of it is on the Croxigore. So, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to make of this. Yeah, they have the strength up, which is actually pretty huge, and the Super Skink, as I said. So, I do think the Injurious Bastards are going to take this one, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Dazzle Wasters winning.
They could certainly pull it out if they manage to defend their more vulnerable pieces as well as they did last game. They've got a good chance.
Yeah. Yeah, this can go to either one. I do believe that. Those are two good teams. The Injurious Bastards just need those 2 remaining Sauruses to get some levels, and then they're sitting pretty, basically.
Yep. It's a very nice team that he's almost got.
It is. It is. Cloutimore Rams are playing you.
Yep, and I'm going to give this one to the Rams.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, these last few weeks have just completely trashed my confidence in my ability to win with Wood Elves, but Cloutimore Rams are looking pretty scary. Well, they were looking pretty scary up until their Minotaur died. But still, we've got a diving tackle. We've got enough tackle here to make my life a misery. I've got a shot at this.
I mean, you have a shot at every game, I'd say, with 2 Agi 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's Wood Elves, but inevitably one of them will die on turn 2.
On turn 2 specifically, or?
On turn 2 specifically.
Okay.
It's always going to be turn 2. If it's not turn 1, it's turn 2.
I mean, I can see
But-
where
but
you're
if
coming
I'm-
from.
But if I'm being honest, I think the Rams have got enough skills to make this very touch and go for me. But that said, they lost a lot of team value last game, a lot of very scary pieces. I'm glad there aren't 2 diving tackles right now. I think this one's a coin flip.
I mean, I'd have to sort of agree. Like, the really scary pieces, you know, the one with Mighty Blow and such, they don't actually have any tackle. And one of them is even movement busted. So, the tackle he does have is on his ball carrier and his sacker. I mean, I'm really not sure. He does get some inducements, but I doubt he'll do very much with those. I'm gonna give it to you. I don't know what to think of this old Beastman team, honestly.
Alright, we'll see who's right there, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were here next week with Lozray discussing how the Beastman meme team just completely killed everyone left on the Wood Elves.
Oh. I mean, it's always a possibility, especially with your team. But yeah, I think you probably have this. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Looking at it, actually, I'd say Morgan Treeman's looking a lot better this week because of the lack of claw minnow.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Might kill some beastmen here.
Alright, well, Night Juggler is back, faces the Toxic Avengers. This is gonna hurt.
Oh, poor Night Juggler. Gerber just cannot get any development started on his team, and now he's facing Kill Chaos.
Kill Nurgle, even.
Kill Nurgle. They're so killy, I thought they were a Chaos team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't see a universe where, Gerber wins. Unless, like, the unthinkable happens, basically.
I mean, the inducements are going to be pretty heavy. What would you even take with that much? Like, a wizard, obviously.
Well, a Griff.
Griff, yeah?
Probably Griff to have some strength 4.
I can't see Griff doing enough to stand up to all those warriors, though.
Well, here's the thing, right? I don't know any of the bread inducements except for Griff. So that's probably why I'm saying Griff.
I know very little about Brett inducements as well, but
Right.
I think from what I remember, Griff's probably the best call in this situation.
I mean, REBBL.net has a thing to show star players, which we should be using, but are not. You know what? Actually, I'll take it up really quick. We have Dolfar, Griff, Zug, Morgan Thorg, Willow Rosebark, and Zara. None of those are going to do anything, are they?
Not really. I mean, does he have enough for Morg? If he doesn't take the wizard, he probably does.
Yeah, I think so. Let me check real quick. He has a grand total of, oh Jesus, he has 715 inducements.
Ouch.
So he has enough for a wizard, Morgan Thorg, like 2 bribes. Although he'd probably take, babes instead of bribes.
Yeah, Babes is the call against this team, I would say. I'm going to give it to the Toxic Avengers.
Yeah.
I love Night Juggler is back. I think they're a lovely team, but this is going to hurt.
It's gonna hurt really bad.
Yep.
Yeah. I wish him luck, but yeah.
Good luck, Gerber.
Blood 2 Sand versus Glart Deathgrips Jr.
This is an interesting matchup, I think.
It is. I don't even know what to think of it. On one hand, I really want to give it to the Glart Deathgrips Juniors because they have somehow managed to do well with this Underworld team. But then again, Blood to Sand looks like a better team.
On paper, yeah, I'd say Blood to Sand is where we'd go on this one. But I think it depends on whether or not those blitzers can effectively get in on those Tomb Guardians with assists.
Yeah.
Because Claw piling on Mighty Blow against Decay. Ooh.
It's all about locking down those pieces, and then Masterful should have a fine game. But as soon as he has his Tomb Guardians blitzed by those pieces, like he's gonna struggle when he goes down Tomb Guardians, because he will if those blitzers get to blitz them every turn.
Inevitably.
So I think this is dependent on, how each coach plays it, because they've sort of coin flippy teams, where, if Masterfuls manages to defend the Tomb Guardians and lock down those blitzers, I think he should be fine. But if he doesn't manage that, then I think he's in a lot of trouble.
Not enough inducements for a wizard. I think I'd give this to Glart Deathgrips.
Yeah, I'll probably as well. He has a lot of goblins, which are, a couple of them are actually really good, and I mean they're all dodge, and none of the Tomb Guardians have tackle, and he only has 3 tackle, in total on his team, which isn't a whole lot. So I think the goblins might actually, be a real nuisance in this match.
Yep. I mean, I'm pretty sure Magic Mike and Classy Charles can take down a few of them, but there's just so many.
There's so many. I mean, there's a lot of players on that team.
Yep.
Yep, that's our predictions. You want to take a look at the leaderboard?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. The Darkside Dreamers are relatively comfortable in first place, followed by
Mm,
the Lizardmen and the Khemri fighting for the play, not playoffs, the Sippy Cup, the Champs Cup. I think that's what it's called. I always forget.
Challengers Cup?
Challengers Cup. That's the one. They're fighting for that. But not far behind them are the Nordic Nublins and GMAN with his Underworld. So, I mean, it could be really close, except for the first spot. I think that's virtually locked in, especially with the bye week this week.
Pretty much, yeah. Darkside Dreamers are going to be going into the playoffs. Yeah, I don't see anybody doing anything about that. But I think Sporren's going to be able to keep that second place, mostly due to the touchdown difference between him and Masterful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him making up a 3 touchdown difference in the weeks we have left. Whether or not Bainsies is going to be able to usurp the Challengers spot, though, that's going to be the interesting.
I mean, I sort of doubt it. He is a couple points behind. Let me just bring up the REBBL.net thing real quick because it has more detail there. Yeah, he's 19 points versus the 23 of first and second.
4 points behind, so he has to win this week, have Masterful lose.
Or tie, and then win again.
Yes. Yeah, I think Masterful's safe-ish.
Yeah, I think first is definitely locked, and then second and third are sort of locked, actually. Although, I say that, I think Underworld, yeah, they are facing Masterful and his Blood Descent, so they have a shot at the very least.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if Underworld takes it this week, next week's going to be a massive week for Bainsey.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone underneath GMAN really has a chance at anything anymore this season.
Definitely not. The points difference is just too big.
Making up 8 points in what, three games?
Not going to happen.
2 games actually, 2 games. So it's physically impossible. It's even going to be hard for GMAN. He has to win twice, and then have say Masterful lose and tie at best, and make a bunch of touchdowns. So it's unlikely, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Alright, well, those were our predictions, our thoughts, and a look at the development this week. We'll be back next week, in theory at the very least, probably with Lazra, but who knows, really. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you for listening.